Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're setting our sights on a geographic and cultural epicenter that often plays second fiddle in the popular imagination.
Hmm.
Yet it quietly holds some of the world's most, well, magnificent modern treasures. We are talking about Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab
It's
Emirates.
a really unusual situation, isn't it? For so long, when people think about Gulf travel, their mind just, immediately jumps to Dubai.
Right, the energy, the flash.
Exactly. The flash, the endless record-breaking projects, that relentless global marketing machine. And Abu Dhabi, sitting right there next door, kind of absorbs this reputation as Dubai's quieter, more serious sibling.
Yeah.
It becomes the place many travelers only budget a few rushed hours for, maybe, viewing it as just a mandatory day trip checklist item.
That perception of Abu Dhabi as a mere footnote or like a side quest, that is exactly what our sources challenge and what we need to unpack today. Okay, let's unpack this. Is Abu Dhabi truly just a well-funded supporting actor on the global stage, quietly managing the finances of the nation?
Mm.
Or has it matured into a headline act in its own right, just waiting for travelers to grant it the dedicated attention it absolutely deserves?
That is the core question we're tackling.
Yeah.
And the depth of the source material. It confirms this is no longer a simple discussion.
Right.
Our mission today is to break down the highly complex, multifaceted offerings of the city. We need to look at the real logistical costs, the crucial reality of the climate, the stunning and intentionally provocative cultural highlights,
Mhm.
and perhaps most surprisingly, the profound sense of order and tranquility it offers. We're synthesizing all this research specifically for you, the cultural travelers, the luxury seekers, and of course the modern families out there.
And for you, the learner, the benefit of this deep dive is really a shortcut. We spent a week sifting through all the noise, covering everything from these shimmering architectural domes to the practical realities of just getting around this large city. We're synthesizing the knowledge so you can walk away well-informed and hopefully ready to plan. We've organized the journey into 6 main segments, covering logistics, accommodation, the surprisingly dual nature of its cuisine, and what we're calling the unmissable trinity of cultural activities.
Exactly. We're moving beyond the glossy photos and into the operational details. So let's start with the practicalities, right? The arrival and movement within this extremely efficient capital, because that efficiency, it's the first thing that hits you.
The journey begins at the gateway, which is Abu Dhabi International Airport, or AUH. For anyone flying Etihad Airways, this is their home base, and it's absolutely designed for global connectivity.
And it is.
That first impression is so crucial, and Abu Dhabi ensures it's a very smooth one.
This is where that defining characteristic of efficiency really shines. I mean, AUH is certainly modern and it's large,
Yes.
right? It's catering to a world-class airline, but it manages to feel entirely manageable. It just lacks that frantic, overwhelming energy and, the sheer passenger volume congestion that you might associate with some of the other major regional hubs.
So it's calmer.
Much calmer.
Hmm.
Our sources consistently note that customs, luggage retrieval, it's all professional, quick, and organized. It just sets this expectation of competence that really permeates the rest of the city.
Okay, so once you're on the ground, getting into the city is straightforward, but you have to plan for distances. That's a key takeaway.
A huge takeaway.
Unlike some older cities built for density, Abu Dhabi is really spread out. So the most recommended and most efficient method of reaching the city center is by taxi.
Taxis are plentiful, they're readily available right outside the airport terminals, and they operate strictly on metered fares. This is a really important logistical point for travelers new to the region.
No haggling.
Zero need to haggle.
Yeah.
Transparency and the reliability of the taxi service is just very, very high.
And what are the numbers we are looking at? Because transportation costs, if you're going to rely on taxis heavily, you have to factor that into the overall budget.
Yeah, good question. You should expect the fare to reach the city center or the prominent Corniche area to fall consistently between about 80 and 100 AED.
Okay, so what's that in dollars?
That translates to a very clean professional experience for approximately 20 to 27 US dollars, which, considering the quality of the vehicles and the service, that's quite reasonable for a major global capital.
And beyond the standard taxi, what are the alternatives? And I guess, how viable are they for the typical tourist?
Well, you do have cheaper alternatives. Public buses are incredibly inexpensive, but they are significantly slower. They require purchasing a special smart card, and they demand a bit more navigational work and waiting time.
So maybe not for a first-timer?
For a first-time visitor prioritizing experience over savings, we would strongly recommend just sticking to the taxis. But if you prefer the certainty of digital pricing, ride-sharing apps like Careem or Uber, they operate seamlessly and are very reliable alternatives.
Okay, so moving from airport transport to just getting around the city itself, this becomes a foundational planning detail. Abu Dhabi is, structurally, it's a driving city.
Fundamentally,
It is not designed to be walked, and budgeting for that taxi reliance is absolutely crucial.
absolutely. The distances between the major must-see attractions are significant. They're not just a few blocks.
Right.
I mean, think about the drive from the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, which is on the mainland side, all the way across the water to the Louvre and the new cultural zone on Saadiyat Island. That's a significant journey.
Yeah.
The urban planning prioritized these wide, multi-lane roads and vehicle flow, which means pedestrian life is often relegated to specific areas, like the Corniche Promenade. So taxis or ride shares, they will be your primary means of transport for nearly every single movement within the city.
And that reliance on air-conditioned vehicle-based transport is uh, profoundly impacted by the climate,
Hmm.
particularly during the lengthy summer months, which run roughly from May through the end of September. This is where planning moves from optional to just critical.
Indeed.
Mm.
The sources stress that the summer heat isn't just warm. They use the word profound. We're talking about dry desert heat with temperatures that can easily and consistently hit 45 degrees Celsius,
That's 113 Fahrenheit.
113 Fahrenheit. And the sources stress that this changes the nature of the city entirely.
So how does that level of extreme heat practically affect the day-to-day experience for a traveler? I mean, what does that look like?
During the summer, Abu Dhabi effectively becomes a completely indoor experience. The sources describe it as a series of transitions. You move from an air-conditioned hotel lobby
Right.
into an air-conditioned car, into an air-conditioned underground parking structure, and then directly into an air-conditioned building. Outdoor life, especially midday, just largely pauses.
So no leisurely summer sightseeing strolls.
Not at all. This isn't a place for that. It requires meticulous logistical planning to manage heat exposure. So that means early morning excursions, prioritizing those internal climate-controlled spaces during peak hours. It's a non-negotiable planning detail for any traveler.
That reliance on climate control must have been a massive engineering undertaking during the city's development. It really speaks to the level of investment required.
It absolutely does. The infrastructure required for this level of climate control, from the airport to the theme parks, it's immense. It highlights the technological solutions applied to overcome a fundamental environmental challenge. It's a modern city built specifically to manage extreme heat, and travelers benefit directly from that high standard of engineering, even if it means altering their expectations about, typical tourism activities.
So moving from the necessity of air conditioning and effective logistics, let's talk about accommodation, because this is where Abu Dhabi starts to offer something truly distinctive. Our research indicates that for travelers seeking luxury, the city often offers significantly better value and a quieter experience than its immediate neighbor, Dubai.
And we can effectively break the geography down into three very distinct zones, each catering to a different traveler vibe.
Okay, let's start with Zone 1.
Zone 1, the Corniche and downtown area.
Yeah.
This is essentially the classic established Abu Dhabi grandeur. If you're a first-timer, a business traveler, or a couple seeking that quintessential five-star luxury skyscraper experience, this is your zone.
The physical setting here is pretty spectacular. You have that long, curving, beautiful beachfront promenade, the Corniche, which is great for walking and cycling once the temperature drops in the evening.
Right.
This is home to landmark properties like the Emirates Palace Mandarin Oriental, which is less a hotel and more a staggering tourist attraction in itself.
It really is.
Or the St. Regis, offering some of the most stunning classic views of the Arabian Gulf. It's central, it's close to established business districts, traditional shopping areas.
And the primary trade-off in this zone, compared to the newer developments, is usually threefold. First, it's often the priciest area.
Naturally.
And while it's central to the old city, you're looking at a longer drive to those new, exciting cultural and entertainment islands. And finally, the beaches, while excellent, are often man-made extensions of the cityscape.
Which brings us to Zone 2, which really defines modern Abu Dhabi's cultural ambition, Saadiyat Island.
Yes.
The name translates roughly to Island of Happiness or Island of Enlightenment, and for good reason. This is where the city's cultural revolution is physically centered.
Absolutely. If the core reason for your visit is art, Culture, architecture, and high-end genuine relaxation, this should be your base. It is home to the globally renowned Louvre Abu Dhabi.
Hmm.
And it's a site where the future Guggenheim Abu Dhabi will rise. But beyond the architecture, the sources really emphasize the natural environment here.
It's more than just a beautiful beach, isn't it? The ecological aspect is a major draw.
It's critical. Saadiyat Island's beaches are consistently ranked among the most pristine in the entire region. They're famous for being natural nesting sites for protected hawksbill sea turtles.
Wow.
So the hotel resorts here, like the Park Hyatt and the St. Regis Saadiyat Island, they integrate environmental sensitivity into their luxury offerings. You get this upscale, relaxed beach holiday feel with private beach clubs and immaculate service, often set far back from the ocean to protect those nesting areas.
This zone provides a really unique balance then. You're getting true resort luxury, feeling wonderfully removed from the intensity and traffic of the city bustle.
Right, that serene atmosphere.
You have that serene beach atmosphere. Yet, because of the city's excellent infrastructure, you're only a quick 15-minute taxi ride from the downtown core. It's the perfect mix of relaxation and high culture.
It really is. And finally, we swing over to Zone 3, Yas Island. If Saadiyat is the mind and soul, Yas is pure thrill central.
Right.
If a traveler hears Abu Dhabi and thinks fast cars, roller coasters, and theme parks, this is the non-negotiable destination.
This entire island is a master-planned community designed around non-stop action and entertainment. It is a huge magnet for adrenaline junkies, families with children, motorsport fans. It houses the massive entertainment hubs, Ferrari World, Warner Bros. World, the immense Yas Marina F1 circuit, and Yas Water World, a massive water park.
And what defines Yas Island logistically is density. Everything is within shouting distance of everything else. You can practically walk between the F1 track and the theme parks.
Which is a huge advantage for families.
A key advantage, especially for families who want minimal travel time between activities.
The hotels here match the vibe perfectly, right? They're vibrant, casual, integrated directly into the attractions. The most famous example is the W Abu Dhabi,
The one on the track.
which is a striking piece of architecture built right over the F1 track, putting guests literally in the middle of the action during events.
Yeah.
So you're trading the quietude of Saadiyat for unparalleled convenience to the island's attractions.
So, to summarize the accommodation strategy, Corniche downtown for classic grandeur and central access to the old city.
Great.
Saadiyat Island for cultural immersion, intellectual pursuits, and sophisticated beach relaxation.
Okay.
And Yas Island for high-energy family fun and instant access to theme parks and motorsport. Knowing your travel goals before you book really determines which of those three very different Abu Dhabi experiences you're going to have.
Now we transition from where you rest to what fuels your exploration. Abu Dhabi, like its physical geography, operates its culinary scene on two distinct, highly varied tracks.
Yeah.
And understanding this duality is key for the first-time visitor.
That dual track is it's rigidly defined by licensing, and it fundamentally alters the landscape of dining. The top dining scene, the high-end experience, is almost exclusively dominated by licensed hotel restaurants.
Okay.
This is where the city concentrates its world-class international cuisine. We're talking outposts of Michelin-starred chefs, celebrity concepts, and virtually every high-end global menu imaginable.
And crucially, this is the context point that separates the fine dining experience from almost everything else. This is where the alcohol is served.
That's the key.
It's a key logistical and social note. Alcohol is generally only served in these licensed hotels, resorts, and private clubs, not in standalone public restaurants or cafes outside of those specific zones.
And this licensing structure profoundly influences the social calendar. It's the reason for the proliferation of the huge Friday brunch culture. These are not quiet, leisurely midday meals. They are massive, highly produced, lavish, all-inclusive hotel affairs, often featuring bottomless food and drink packages ranging from high-end gourmet concepts to more casual but equally energetic themes. It's the major social ritual of the weekend, entirely built around that hotel environment.
But let's step away from the five-star international hotel bubbles and discuss what happens when a traveler actively seeks out the authentic taste of the capital.
Yes.
If a traveler wants to experience genuine Emirati cuisine, our sources confirm they have to actively search for it.
That's absolutely true. Unlike, say, Lebanese or Indian cuisine, which are ubiquitous globally, traditional Emirati food is less internationally known, but it is deeply rewarding. It's rooted in the historical diet of the region, traditionally based on staple ingredients like meats, primarily lamb or chicken, served with rice and flavored heavily with fragrant, often warming spices like saffron, cardamom, ginger, and turmeric.
The dish we have to focus on is makbuz. It's a central pillar of the local palate. So how is it prepared, and what does it convey about the local culture?
So makbuz is essentially a rich, slow-cooked, spiced rice pilaf with meat. But the preparation is what makes it unique. The meat, often lamb, is first steeped in a broth and then cooked down with the rice.
Ah,
And the flavor profile is so complex because the rice isn't just mixed with spices, it's often infused with dried limes or lumi and a specific blend of aromatics. This allows the broth to penetrate and flavor every single grain. It's a dish of comfort, designed to feed large families and convey hospitality. It's aromatic, rich, and truly indicative of the local palate.
it sounds like a dish that requires time and deliberate preparation, which reflects the importance of food in social settings.
It does. And if you are looking for an accessible entry point to this local cuisine, the sources highlight Alfanar. It's a restaurant that is designed, perhaps a bit thematically, to look like a 1960s Emirati house.
A bit of
A
nostalgia.
bit of nostalgia, complete with traditional decor. But the consensus is that the food served there is genuinely good, authentic, and it provides a rewarding dining experience outside the massive international dining bubble of the hotels.
Okay, moving to quick bites and sweets. You can always rely on shawarma as a high-quality, reliable street food choice throughout the Gulf. But for dessert, we have to spend a moment on your favorite, lukumat.
Ah, lukumat. These are not merely donuts. They are miniature perfection.
Right.
They are deep-fried dumplings, small balls of dough. But the technique creates this fantastic texture.
Mm.
They're crispy on the outside, but achieve this delightful fluffiness and lightness on the inside. They are typically served hot, immediately drizzled with date syrup, which provides a rich, dark sweetness and often sprinkled with sesame seeds. They're just an absolutely divine, authentic, and essential local sweet treat.
Now, on the entirely opposite end of the spectrum, from the humble lukuma and the comforting makbuz, we have the unavoidable symbol of hyper-luxury,
Oh,
the
yes.
gold flake cappuccino at Emirates Palace.
It's the ultimate, almost self-aware gimmick of only in the UAE. Yes, you are paying upwards of $25 for a coffee.
Right.
Yes, it tastes exactly like high-quality coffee with edible gold dust sprinkled on top, which, flavor-wise, is neutral. But it is an essential cultural observation. It's a statement of wealth and capability. It's ridiculous, it's decadent, and its very existence speaks volumes about the level of unapologetic luxury the capital can provide.
It's an experience you almost have to tick off the list.
You almost have to, if only to understand the sheer scale of opulence at play.
That's a fascinating juxtaposition. It's like the city is saying, we have world-class ancient culture, deep culinary traditions, and we can serve you coffee dusted with a valuable commodity.
Precisely. So the culinary verdict is complex. The high-end scene is truly world-class, effortless to find, and dominates the licensed market. But for cheaper, more rewarding, and authentic local eats, you have to be prepared to search a little harder.
Okay, we've covered the practical and the palatable. Now let's move past the logistics and the food and focus on the purpose of the trip. Here's where it gets really interesting. We need to dedicate significant time to the three places that define the why of visiting Abu Dhabi, the unmissable trinity of culture, mind, and power.
This is the core reason Abu Dhabi deserves a multi-day trip. These three sites are executed with such vision and scale that they fundamentally reposition the city globally. We begin with Trinity Site 1, the spiritual heart, the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. This is the soul of the city and arguably the entire nation.
When you look at photographs, you see the sheer white beauty, but the sources indicate that nothing prepares a visitor for the physical reality of the experience. What makes it so awe-inspiring in person?
It's a combination of scale and material purity. The entire structure is enveloped in brilliant, blinding white Macedonian marble, which is then contrasted with the use of semi-precious stones.
Wow.
Jasper, amethyst, lapis lazuli for the intricate floral inlay designs covering the columns and floors. The architecture is designed to evoke profound awe.
And the details within the main prayer hall are famous worldwide.
That's right. Inside, you find the world's largest hand-knotted carpet, a single piece covering the entire floor of the main hall, woven by thousands of artisans and weighing tons.
Incredible.
And above that, you have massive gold-plated crystal chandeliers, including the third largest in the world. Every element is meticulous. It is a place designed for spiritual contemplation and profound peace.
Now, for travelers, we have to reinforce the practical aspects, starting with the dress code.
Yes, The dress code is strict and critically non-negotiable. Visitors must adhere to modest dress out of respect for the religious site. Women must cover their hair, arms, and legs completely.
And they provide clothing if you're unprepared.
They do. Generous, beautiful abayas are provided free of charge at the entry point. And men must also ensure they wear long trousers. Shorts will not be permitted entry, which is a common mistake for travelers.
It's important to frame this not as an obstacle, but as an integral part of the experience. It's an act of respect.
Exactly. And the second crucial tip is timing. While beautiful during the day, it is highly recommended to plan your visit for late afternoon around sunset. You get to witness this transformation. The brilliant white marble catches the dramatic golden light of dusk. And then as night falls, the entire mosque is illuminated by a unique lighting system that subtly changes color based on the phases of the moon. It adds an entirely magical, almost surreal layer to the visit.
Moving on, Trinity Site 2 is the intellectual core dedicated to dialogue. The Louvre, Abu Dhabi. This is a monument to shared human thought.
It truly is a singular achievement, and even before you look at the art, the architecture itself demands discussion. Designed by Pritzker Prize winner Jean Nouvel, the building is sheltered by this enormous 180-meter-wide web-patterned dome.
The dome is often described as creating a rain of light. Can you elaborate on the engineering required to achieve that specific ethereal effect?
Yeah, the dome is a masterpiece of complex engineering. It's actually composed of 8 distinct layers of interlocking steel geometry, over 8,000 unique star shapes, all designed to mimic the overlapping palm fronds traditionally used for roofing in the region.
This is very intentional.
Deliberate. And when the intense desert sunlight passes through these 8-layered patterns, it filters and refracts, creating those shifting spots of light onto the plazas and water channels below. It's not just a roof. It's an atmosphere machine.
What's truly profound of the Louvre is its specific curatorial philosophy, which really challenges the Western concept of museum organization.
That is the genius of the institution and its mission. Unlike traditional Western museums that group art chronologically by region or civilization, the Louvre Abu Dhabi groups art thematically.
Okay.
The entire purpose is to show connection and dialogue across history.
So give us a specific, memorable example of that philosophy in practice so the listener can visualize what they'll encounter.
Certainly. They deliberately contrast pieces. You might find a classical 18th century French portrait of a royal figure hung near a 15th century Mughal miniature depicting an emperor in India, grouped under the theme of representations of power.
Interesting.
Or, in a section on early religion, you might see an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus displayed directly next to a 19th century European painting of the Madonna and Child. The message is clear. Different cultures, separated by time and geography, explore the same human ideas. It forces you to consider the linked intellectual purpose.
This sounds like an institution that requires true engagement, not just a quick walkthrough.
Exactly. Our sources strongly suggest allocating a minimum of 3 to 4 hours to properly absorb the space, the architecture, and the philosophy. If you rush it, you miss the core message.
And finally, Trinity Site 3, Qas al-Watan, the Palace of the Nation. So if the mosque is the soul and the Louvre is the mind, this is the profound expression of national power and identity.
This is a remarkable statement. Qasr al-Watan is the working presidential palace of the UAE, where official meetings and state visits are held. The very fact that parts of this immense operating government building are open to the public.
Yeah, that's unusual.
It speaks volumes about the transparency and national confidence of the state. It is designed to overwhelm the visitor with its scale and meticulous detail.
So describe that grandeur. What is the key visual that defines this building?
The visual is sheer craftsmanship. The emphasis is on the Great Hall, a cavernous space where every surface seems to be covered in intricate geometric patterns, reflecting contemporary Islamic design. The centerpiece is the massive 37-meter-wide central dome, just painstakingly constructed and decorated. The materials are stunning. Massive quantities of white, yellow, and blue crystal and gold leaf are used throughout.
Beyond the sheer spectacle of the decoration, there's also the element of knowledge that the palace incorporates.
Yes, reinforcing the idea that power is linked to civic achievement. The palace also features the House of Knowledge, which is a massive library. It's described as a treasure trove of historical and contemporary books and documents focusing on the Arab world.
Interesting.
It reinforces this idea that the nation's power is built on knowledge and strategic foresight, not just resources.
So if we synthesize this unmissable trinity, the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque provides transcendent beauty for the soul. The Louvre Abu Dhabi provides connection and dialogue for the mind, and Khazar al-Watan provides a profound, detailed statement of national confidence and power.
Executed at this level. This trio alone makes the case that Abu Dhabi is not just a destination, but a cultural powerhouse that must be treated as its own multi-day trip.
As crucial as the cultural landmarks are, Abu Dhabi also operates at the other end of the spectrum. It's not just serious contemplation, it's also about nonstop action, largely centered on Yas Island.
Mm.
We need to revert back to that thrills segment and delve deeper into the specific experiences on offer.
The sheer volume of themed entertainment packed onto Yas Island is genuinely astonishing, and it's all world-class. We mentioned Ferrari World, but the reason that park is a global draw is the specific technology behind the Formula Rossa.
Laid out for us. What makes the Formula Rossa roller coaster not just fast, but world record fast?
Formula Rossa is the world's fastest roller coaster. It achieves a peak speed of 240 kilometers per hour. That's 149 miles per hour.
Wow.
And crucially, it achieves this speed not through gravity, but through a hydraulic launch system, similar to what's used to launch fighter jets off aircraft carriers. You go from 0 to top speed in less than 5 seconds.
That acceleration must be genuinely intense. What are the G-forces involved?
Riders experience G-forces peaking at around 4.8 Gs, which is why, for safety, you're provided with goggles to protect your eyes from dust and the sheer force of the wind. It's an exercise in engineering physics as much as it is a theme park ride.
That is the pinnacle of speed and technological thrill.
What I find fascinating, though, is that incredible juxtaposition you mentioned earlier.
The extreme engineering and speed existing right alongside the unexpected natural world. This is where the tranquility comes in.
This contrast, the calm, green, natural waterways located minutes from the roaring speed of Formula Rossa, is one of the most compelling insights into Abu Dhabi's complexity. We are talking about the Mangrove National Park.
It sounds like an ecosystem that should be miles outside of a major metropolitan capital, yet it's right there.
Right there, adjacent to the skyscrapers. The Mangrove National Park is an ecological treasure. Mangroves are critical ecosystems. They act as vital nurseries for marine life, stabilize the coastline, and absorb massive amounts of carbon dioxide. In Abu Dhabi, this is a protected area of dense, verdant natural waterways.
And the activity of choice here is kayaking, right? How meditative is that experience, given the proximity to urban life?
It is surprisingly and profoundly serene. Once you are gliding through those natural tunnels of mangroves, the sounds of the city often just disappear. You're observing wildlife herons, pink flamingos, crabs, in a calm, almost meditative environment. It's a deliberate, peaceful contrast to the concrete jungle. It speaks to the city's commitment to conservation.
This ecological commitment, maintaining a healthy mangrove ecosystem right alongside a massive high-speed capital, that is a major logistical and environmental challenge.
It is a deliberate choice. It shows that Abu Dhabi recognizes the value of natural assets beyond resource extraction. For the traveler, it means the range is genuinely impressive.
Right.
You can spend the morning riding the world's fastest coaster and the afternoon kayaking in silent, pristine natural waterways. It caters to every type of energy level, which validates the idea that this city has matured far beyond a one-note destination. Now, a critical part of being a well-informed traveler is knowing not just what to see, but where to save your valuable time and money.
Yes.
So let's discuss what can be safely left off the itinerary to maximize efficiency for you.
For me, the most common time sink is the generic shopping mall experience. They are massive, they are highly air-conditioned, which is necessary, but they feature every major international brand you can find in London, New York, or Singapore.
And this is not a critique of the quality of the malls, which are impeccable. It's a critique of the opportunity cost.
Exactly.
Ultimately, a mall is a mall. Unless you are specifically seeking refuge from the extreme heat or hunting for a particular luxury item, dedicating a whole day to shopping at places like Yas Mall is a waste of the precious cultural and scenic opportunities we've outlined.
I agree completely. Another area where travelers need to exercise significant caution is the desert safari market. While the activity of dune bashing in a 4x4 is inherently fun,
That is fun.
many of the standard lower-cost operators offer experiences that sources universally describe as extremely touristy and formulaic.
The sources specifically warn against the mass-produced Bedouin camps. These often feature a highly regimented process, mass-produced buffets lacking flavor, and generic entertainment like fire dancing or belly dancing that feels entirely inauthentic.
So if the desert is essential to the traveler's experience, What are the actionable, concrete alternatives to avoid that formulaic trap?
You have two significantly better options depending on your budget. First, seek out a more premium conservation-focused or private tour. These focus on the actual environment, the quiet, the stars, rather than just the spectacle of the dinner show.
And the second option for those willing to commit a substantial portion of their budget.
Make a serious commitment to an overnight stay at a true luxury desert resort. The prime example is Qasr Al Sarab Desert Resort, located deep in the Liwa Desert. This requires significant budget and travel time, but it offers a genuinely transformative, quiet, and unmass-produced experience.
And the final and most crucial skip, which we must hammer home, the day trip trap. Let's reinforce the reality of trying to do both Abu Dhabi and Dubai in one day.
Please do not fall into this trap. The distance between the cities is substantial, and the travel time, especially factoring in the severe potential for traffic, means you will spend the majority of your day strapped into a car or bus.
You just see the highway.
You'll only achieve a superficial, rushed taste of either city. You might see the exterior of the mosque and a couple of Dubai landmarks, but you will entirely miss the soul, the depth, and the nuance of both places. We recommend treating Abu Dhabi as its own destination, requiring a minimum of 4 to 5 dedicated days.
With those cautionary notes internalized, let's pivot to the real vibe. If you distilled the city's essence, how does it feel beyond the spectacle and the efficiency?
The single most accurate descriptor the sources use is stately. Abu Dhabi feels like a true capital city, mature and deliberate. It's characterized by wide, orderly roads and grand, meticulously planned architecture. It's defined by its incredible cleanliness and, crucially, a profound sense of civic safety.
And it's important to explicitly contrast this feeling with Dubai because that's the traveler's inevitable frame of reference.
Right, Dubai has that "look at me" energy. It's constantly seeking the next record, constantly shouting about being the biggest or the tallest. Abu Dhabi is calmer, more confident, and reserved. It has the same wealth and capability, but wields it with a different intent. It's focused heavily on civic pride, culture, knowledge, and education. It feels, for lack of a better word, very grown up.
That reserved confidence translates directly into the expected etiquette. Visitors must understand they are guests in a culturally conservative environment.
The core principle is simply being a mindful and respectful guest. We've mentioned the dress code at the mosque, but the general rule for public spaces outside of beach resorts is to dress modestly. Shoulders and knees covered is the standard guideline.
Right.
And public displays of affection are inappropriate in public spaces, stemming from a deeply held culture of public modesty and respect for family values.
But this context should empower the traveler, not restrict them. Understanding the why makes the observance easier.
Exactly. The city is fundamentally welcoming, the Emirati people are known for being polite and hospitable, and the entire atmosphere operates on a culture of mutual respect. If you observe basic mindfulness and respect for local customs, your visit will be completely smooth and immensely enjoyable.
We've covered the highly efficient logistics, the 3 distinct accommodation zones, the complex dual culinary scene, the necessity of the unmissable trinity, and the sophisticated, stately vibe of the capital. We've spent time detailing the necessary depth required to truly appreciate this city. So, what does this all mean?
It means we can deliver a resounding verdict. Yes, a trip to Abu Dhabi is not just worth it, but it is an essential modern cultural journey. However, it must be treated as its own destination, requiring a minimum of 4 to 5 dedicated days to do it justice.
Let's nail down exactly who should book this trip immediately, based on our deep dive. First, the cultural traveler.
This is non-negotiable. The Trinity, the Grand Mosque, the Louvre, and the Palace represents one of the best, most impactful, and most beautifully executed cultural offerings currently available on the planet. For lovers of art, architecture, and intellectual dialogue, Abu Dhabi offers an unparalleled global experience.
Second, families looking for a sophisticated yet fun vacation.
It's a slam dunk. The combination of secure, world-class resorts on Saadiyat Island, offering high-quality beach time and safety, combined with the sheer density of high-quality theme parks on Yas Island, makes for an extremely high-value, easy, and entertaining family vacation.
And third, luxury seekers who appreciate subtlety.
For those seeking sophisticated, high-end luxury, Abu Dhabi offers a more relaxing, laid-back, and refined stopover compared to its neighbor. You get the 5-star service and infrastructure, but with a calmer, more reflective, and less overtly competitive atmosphere.
On the flip side, who might find this trip challenging or less rewarding?
If you are a backpacker on a strict shoestring budget, This is going to be tough. The city's structure relies heavily on driving and high-quality services, making the true shoestring route difficult to navigate.
Right.
Also, if your primary goal is a wild, vibrant, non-stop nightlife and party scene, Dubai still holds a clear edge in that category. Abu Dhabi is focused on the day.
So our final summary is clear. Abu Dhabi has spent years developing deliberately and strategically. It has gracefully stepped out of the shadows. It is no longer just the other city in the UAE. It is a world-class destination deserving of your undivided attention.
And finally, a provocative thought for you to carry forward, directly related to the cultural ambition we explored, the massive, continued, multi-billion-dollar investment in Zayed Island. Beyond the existing Louvre, the planned Guggenheim, the Zayed National Museum, and other cultural institutions suggest a long-term national commitment to defining the entire nation's identity through art, knowledge, and connection. You should consider how this ongoing, highly sophisticated cultural project will continue to shape global perceptions of the Arabian Gulf and position Abu Dhabi as a global cultural capital over the next decade. This is just the beginning.